Hello, Ladi. How you doing?
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening, my brother. I'm doing very good. I think that I've had quite an interesting day, to be honest. Quite an interesting
So,
day, so I'm doing very good.
let me start from this part. You you are very you say what you want to say on the timeline, and I look at it from the part. People always tell I'm a lover of Jordan Peterson, and somebody asked him one day that uh, how did Elon Musk become so bold to say whatever he wants to say? And
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was telling the person that no, 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 Elon did not become that person. He has always been that person. It is not money and success that gave him a voice. He has always had his own voice. So I wanted to ask you, how did you develop that? And how don't you feel some types of way to say what you want to say?
To be honest, I've always been the guy who has a mind of his own. Um, I grew up in a middle income family, and I grew up in an area where circumstances made my family relocate to that neighborhood. And what that meant was that my mom wanted to shield myself from the realities in the neighborhood. So she would encourage me, ask me not to relate, have friends, mingle with guys in the neighborhood because she believed that she was better than living there, but it was just circumstances that put her there in that period. So, and I mean, I was chilling with these guys. I'm the guy who everyone is on the neighborhood block. We're chilling. Maybe they're lifting weights, smoking, drinking. I'm the guy, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I'm just there. So, I mean, I grew up that way and I wasn't I was never pressured. I was pressured into participating in those activities, but I held on to my own. So I grew up with an independent mind. I grew up in an area where I grew up in a place where I was never affected by peer pressure. I was never forced to do anything. Nobody could force me to do anything. I have my own thoughts. I have my own opinions. I mean, I grew up in a religious background, but even though I grew up in a religious background, I had basic doctrines or tenets that I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I'm not ever going to follow this. So, and growing up, I realized that when I went into uni, uh, I was super active in politics. So, I was the class governor in my class. So I just grew up realizing that I had my own mind. I could think. People tell me things like the way you think about things is different. The way you look at things is different. I could think out of the box. I could see things from totally different perspectives that nobody was thinking about before. Among my friends, even till date, we're discussing a topic, and then I say something totally off what everyone is thinking about, and my friends are like, you always have crazy world view. You have crazy point of view, like because it's not normal. So for me, I think growing up, I had always had a differing opinion. I had always thought about things from my own perspective. I was hardly shaped by external views, hardly shaped by external opinions, hardly shaped by external pressure. I just had my own way that I believe this is how I see things, and I share them irrespective. I mean, I think people come online and think and see me and say maybe I'm controversial, but the truth is that in uni I had one most controversial award. I had won awards for most controversial. So like I didn't just become an adult or become popular on social media and become controversial. I had always held controversial opinions. I wasn't scared to hold controversial opinions. I wasn't scared to support the underdog. In fact, the funny thing is that when I was young, very small, I remember back then where I support the underdog team. So if Nigeria Super Eagles is playing against a stronger team, I'll support the Super Eagles. If Super Eagles is playing against a weaker team, I would support the weaker team. And I'm just there. So imagine if you are going to a viewing center and you're supporting a weaker team, and every other person is supporting Super Eagles. So if that weaker team scores, you are jubilating. You can imagine how crazy that is like. And people will be there like, like we'll beat you up in this place. I am entitled to my own support. So for me, I've always just like had that thing where I support the underdog. I share my opinion. I never want to follow the crowd. I just want to have my own opinion, irrespective of. And the truth is that sometimes it can be crazy because you the head can be very overwhelming. Everyone thinks, oh, in this light, oh, this should be the social direction. But when you come and say this should not be social direction, people scream at you, people clamp on you, they come
They,
on you
they,
like, oh, you should not be, they want to punish you. There's that social punishment against when you go against the social norm. There's always that punishment when you go against the social norm. And that's why you will always be tagged as the most controversial or a controversial person, simply because you are going against the social norm. You are going against the social status quo, pretty much. So,
is it,
I've just grown up to always have a mind of my own and not be cajoled or coerced or pressured into groupthink, pretty much.
have
In
you,
fact, the funny thing is that even that was what shaped my political leaning. That was what shaped my political leaning. When I left uni and I got out of school and I wanted to join politics, everybody was
yeah,
APC. As students, I went to the University of Lagos. So as students, all the student leaders were tending
yeah,
towards APC. I'm like, why is
AP.
everybody tending towards APC? I want to join the party that everybody's not tending towards. Then I joined the PDP. It's as simple as that.
Don't you think being in that, you don't get scared of being in the so-called maybe losing side? Most likely the underdog will most likely lose. They have very few chance of winning. The smaller party has few chance of winning. The unpopular opinion will most likely not pop. It will not be a populist opinion. You don't get scared of losing because it's like you turn it towards this clear part that is okay. This part is a losing part, but you still walk that part. You don't get scared of losing because
So,
people like winning.
absolutely. So, one thing I figured is that I think part of my beliefs growing up is the fact that I believe I have very strong self belief. I believe very strongly in myself. I believe that I have power over my actions, over my outcomes. And because of this belief, I believe that I have so much power over my outcomes. I believe that even if I am tending towards unpopular opinions, I can still shape my outcome. I can still shape what what comes of it. What comes of it, I can still shape it. And this for me uh, doesn't put in any fear, doesn't make me feel fear because I believe that even if it's unpopular, I can make something work out of it. So I just have that very strong self belief that irrespective of the path that I choose, I can make success work out of it. I can make something good come out of it just because I believe in myself. And I believe that I have all the necessary tools. If I don't have the necessary tools, I find those tools and equip myself with it pretty much.
Do you use it in marketing?
Absolutely. In fact, I think that I use it across board. I talk to people every time I talk to people, in leadership conversations, my prism is always very different. My opinions, my direction is mostly unconventional. For example, the way I hire is very unconventional. People are always shocked. I mean, I've had good success rate, maybe over 90% success rate, and people are always shocked about the success rate because I don't hire in the conventional way. I don't even think marketing should be done in a conventional way. I think, oh, this is what is expected to be done. What do we
How do
do
you,
that is out of the box? That sort of
how
thing.
do you hire?
I mean, I
Could you
hire in a
tell
very
us?
easy way. Like, I've not found a formula to it. I've not put a formula to it. But here is the thing. Now, first things first, I believe that skill can be learned. Now, that's like my basic principle. Any skill can be learned. And because any skill can be learned, it means that what cannot be learned is innate. You cannot learn innate motivation. You cannot learn uh, some characteristic traits. You cannot learn background. For example, I get into an interview. I'm talking to anybody I'm hiring, a potential candidates. I'm like, oh, how you doing? What was your growing up like? I want to hear what your growing up like is like. I want to hear what your familiar relationships are like. What do you think about your family? What do you think about teams? I want to hear what your opinion is regarding teams. I ask you about team sports. I hear your opinion regarding sports. Uh, and the funny thing is that it's very easy to spot. It's very easy to spot people who do good thing. A lot of people who do good thing, it's very difficult to have ownership. Those It's very difficult to have ownership if you're a group thinker, because if the group is saying that, oh, this is not good, we are demotivated. As someone who has ownership, you wouldn't care about groupthink. You just, because you just have ownership, you have that sense of, okay, this, let me take initiative, let me drive things. You would not care about what the entire team may be demotivated. It wouldn't concern you because you don't care. You will not be cornered by peer pressure or something. So, I mean, having conversations. I have conversations with you regarding so many other things, and and then
The
this is,
conversation
of
goes
course,
very lengthy. Is it
yeah,
very
very short.
lengthy? Like you
That's
talk
the
to
funny
them
thing.
and
Very short conversations, super super short conversations. In fact, the people that I've interviewed, if I interview anybody today, if you will not get the job, I will tell you while on the interview. If you will not proceed, I will tell you why you would not proceed. I've had an interview before where I told the guy, I said, I didn't call you for an interview to consider you for hiring. I called you into an interview to help you, to do a free CV workshop session for you, because I saw your CV, and I saw that, I by power of insight, I saw that you had more potential on your profile than the way you have structured your CV. So I said, you know what? Let us interview this guy so that I can show him what a proper CV should look like, so I can help him bring out the inner giant in him. So the reality is, I would have looked at the CVs, seen who is more skilled, who has more experience, hands-on experience, which is very easy to tell, pretty much. And then when we're having conversations, we're just talking about you. I'm sharing. I'm also not just talking about you. I'm also talking about myself. I'm telling you what the kind of person I am. So you would not feel the need to pretend, because I'm not telling you the good side. I'm just telling you who I am. I'm being authentic. So, and then you are confused, like, how is an interviewer so authentic like this? Half of the time, people lower their guards, and then they also bring out their authentic self to the conversation. And a lot of people that I've hired directly, or that I have recommended for hiring to people, they've always been positive bets, simply because I take away the fakeness from interviews and just bring authenticity into it.
mm, mm. I interviewed that way too. Like I try to talk to people, but mine I try to do it at length because I have this idea
Mm,
that if I talk to you for 30 minutes, if you are empty, you start becoming empty.
mm,
You start,
mm.
yeah, you start fading away.
But
So
the
that's
truth is, yeah, the truth is that if you talk to someone, if me, maybe it might be a gift for me, but if I talk to anybody for 5 minutes, if I sit down with anybody and talk to them for 5 minutes, I can tell if they're a smart person or not. I don't know. That's just me. Within just short conversations, I can tell this person is a smart person. I want to talk to them for longer.
that's
This person doesn't know
maybe
what they're
because
saying.
did you study psychology?
Nope, I did not. No, but the interesting thing is that I'm in marketing. Marketing, consumer psychology, neuro marketing is something that I'm super, super geeky about. I'm
Okay.
super geeky about neuro marketing. I'm super geeky about neuro marketing. Like applying neuroscience into marketing, applying consumer psychology into marketing is something that I'm super passionate about.
You've seen it play out. Okay, let's go into marketing that way. Um, from that neuro psychology, marketing, and everything we talk about, what are the, let me say, okay, will you say Nigerians are becoming dumber online, or they are using fooling, quote unquote, to actually sell themselves? They're actually smart, or they are using fooling. What do you think about the whole people coming up online and acting dumb and acting like an idiot thing? and then they set themselves through that means.
I believe that the way the internet is generally structured, what we in Nigeria term fooling drives virality so well. Generally, and it's
What
not
we
just a
attempt to
Nigerian thing. It's not just a Nigerian
mm,
thing. It's not just a Nigerian thing. Globally, globally, what we call fooling, what we actually call fooling in this part of the world, drives virality easily. Now, some people stumble into it. Some people do it intentionally. In Nigeria, we still have a lot of people that stumble into it. They stumble into fooling and then they become popular and they continue it. Now, some people stumble into fooling, they don't understand what they stumbled into. After they become popular, they become forgotten. So some people study it, they get help, and they continue in that fooling path. So I don't necessarily think that it's a Nigerian becoming dumber. I think it's just the way the internet is structured. The internet is structured. I mean, back then when we used to talk about content marketing, way back, we say things like content marketing is used to attract, to educate, to entertain, to engage, to inform, those kind of things. Right now, the bulk of the internet is used to entertain at the moment. The information part is a tiny section. And if you can validate this when you look at the most popular search terms. There was a report that came out recently talking about the most popular search terms across the world. In some countries, you would see things like pornography, like cow. When you investigate those cultures, you realize that these things are entertaining for the people who are searching for it. You see things like in Nigeria, I think the most popular term here is marriage. Marriage is entertainment. From the way we want to know about it, from the amount, the way we do the parties, the way it is celebrated, it is entertainment. So the reality is that majority of us are on the internet to run away from our physical life. So I don't want to come
to run away
on
from our physical life, from our
yes,
problems.
yes, exactly. We want to run away from our reality, and so fooling, enjoying someone full is like makes us happy. The reality is that we don't want to be the one who is fooling. We don't want to be the one. Like the Yorubas have a proverb or a saying that says that madness is interesting to watch. It's difficult to bet.
Yes,
That sort of thing.
yes.
It goes in that line. So we don't want to be the one that is
Yeah.
fooling, but we want to watch others fooling. So when others are fooling, we would support them, we would amplify their voices. And that's why you say that some people who say these days are like, the people that were platforming, they don't just have sense. The reality is that those people that are saying that we're platforming senseless people, they also enjoy the content of the senseless people. They also enjoy the content, they amplify the content. They
They
talk
also
about
have
it.
they will quote it.
They will quote it. So if you are quoting something, what you are giving is validation to that thing. If I'm not interested in any topic, I would not even put my mouth at all. If I want to put my mouth, I'll put my mouth after the topic has finished. That's how I put my leg on the feet on the ground that I am not interested in this topic. I don't want to discuss it with anybody. I just want to share my opinion. I don't want to amplify it because once you amplify it, you quote it, you reply to it. What you are doing is you are increasing the reach of that particular content, whether good or bad. Someone sees a bad content, say like maybe a disturbing video, and then they are quoting that video to tell people not to engage it, not to watch it, or to report it. What you're doing is you are validating the poster of that video. So for me, the group think, the head is to go in the direction of fooling. That's the head thinking on the internet is to go in the direction
Are
of fooling.
businesses capitalizing on these things?
In fact, businesses are. If you go to TikTok, that's when you know that business owners are fooling, like massively fooling. At one time, I saw some business owners on TikTok, and I began to ask myself, like, is it because of you want to sell market that you're fooling yourself? You wear makeup clothes in your bosom areas as extra breast. You wear bigger stuff on your bum bum, and then you are dancing. I'm like, is it because of you want to drive more awareness, you want people to know, you want people to, because business owners are trying to tap into that fooling, that thing we call fooling, which is pretty much entertainment. Business owners are trying to leverage it, and that's the beauty. And some people leverage it in in a in a premium way. Some people leverage it in a value for money way. What Vicky James is doing, for example, she's leveraging entertainment in a premium way. She knows that the social currency is entertainment, online entertainment. She's entertaining audiences, entertaining people. She has become more popular since she got married because she's now featuring in skits. She's now showing videos of herself and her husband. She is a business owner. She's leveraging it. People call it fooling. People call it cringing. But she's leveraging entertainment. And she's doing it in a
Or
premium
did
way.
you they will still go to our page to go
Absolutely.
watch it?
Absolutely. You people are now following her. People who don't care. Like for fashion designer, majority of a fashion designer's followers would be, or a fashion business would be females. You will now find that male figures are now even going to follow her. They want to get entertained. And that's in fact I was speaking about this to someone who was consulting with me, I think few days earlier in the week. And I was telling him, I said, the fact that you're a business owner, you need to understand the trends. You need to understand the landscape in itself, the social media landscape. What you call fooling, what we both are calling fooling, is entertainment. So, how you want to entertain people, whether it's in jokes, whether it's in satire, whether it's in sarcasm, any way you want to entertain people, whether it's even controversial takes, I can assure you that there are people who give controversial opinions that there are people who agree, but they will never come out to say they agree. So when people are roasting that person, they are just there laughing that you shared my opinion that I agreed with you, but let them roast you.
And then roast you.
So the way people are roasting that person, they are also getting entertained reading the comments. And that's why you would see a certain behavior. People see a popular post. After they watch the video or they see the picture, they go to the comments. They go and read comments. The reason why people are going to read comments as an extra leg is because they just want to get entertained. It's simple. That's why you see, if you go to social media, if you observe social media behavior, you see people will say the comment section is even more interesting than the video.
On the video. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is actually very interesting the way you've broken it down. And I really hope I've learned a lot from this conversation of entertainment and all. And I've come to understand that it will not stop. So far we understand now that they are not fools. They are smart. So you that is saying they are doing fooling, you are the one that they are actually fooling. Yeah, you are the one they are fooling. They are actually smart. From the whole of those guys, they are smart because they understand that that is what you want to see as an individual, as a business owner. That's what you want to see. That is why they will gladly go and be dancing and putting everything on themselves. And I hope they learn from it, sha. But there are better. I believe there are better ways to do it. I honestly believe
Absolutely.
there are better ways.
There are so many. There are tons of examples, or there are hundreds of examples, or there are so many examples of people who are doing it better, who are driving information, adding quality value to customers. Right now, if we do a simple game right now and say, okay, let's try a simple game. If you want to buy a smartphone, who do you buy from? Off the top of your head, without thinking too much, who would you buy from right now? Okay. If you want to buy a shoe, who would you buy from right now?
I don't have anybody on my head.
Now,
But a
if you
brand
want,
I will buy,
yeah, what did you say?
like a brand that I will buy.
No, no, a merchant, a retailer,
No,
a
no, I
retailer.
don't have anybody on my head.
Now, if you want to buy, say, a t-shirt right now, where would you buy from, or who would you buy from?
I don't have anybody on my head.
Now, The reason why you don't have anybody in your head is this: a lot of these business owners in those spaces, they are not doing enough. You have not found a business that is adding value to you in terms of the t-shirt category. Imagine you are a business owner who you are selling t-shirts. And apart from the t-shirt that you are sharing on your page, that people know that they can find on your page, you are perhaps sharing tips on how to style t-shirts every other day. You are perhaps sharing tips on what t-shirt do you wear on which trouser. You are perhaps sharing shit as regards which skin tone should you wear which color for in terms of t-shirt. Those are valuable tips that, as a guy, men's style is, for example, like just contextual, men's style is very scarce. A lot of men do not get intentionally trained as regards style. They just stumble into it. Now imagine if you are doing male fashion and you are actually teaching men how to style their dresses. The day I ask you who do you want to buy from, you think of that page. That
Yeah,
business
if you
owner
have
doesn't
asked me
necessarily.
for if you have asked me for suit, for example, there's a brand on TikTok. It's called Act Oki. It talks about suit and all of these things.
Exactly. Because that guy offers value. So he's sitting at the top of your mind that the day I need a good suit, I'm going to buy from this guy because he has positioned himself as an authority figure in that space. He has positioned himself as an authority figure. He knows what he's saying regarding what kind of suit you should wear, what kind of shoes should you wear on this suit, what kind of suit is for this kind of occasion, that sort of thing. So the reality is there are brands doing this, but a lot of brands. The challenge with Nigerian businesses is that a lot of our business owners, a lot of our founders, a lot of our CEOs stumbled into it or are doing that business because they don't have a job, are doing that business because they can't get a job. So when people are doing something because they cannot get a job, half of the time I've realized that they are not passionate about it. They don't have, they don't even seek knowledge about it.
And there's no long successive plan about it at
Exactly.
all.
There's no vision.
Everything they do is short term, short term, short term.
If you want to confirm this, just go on Twitter today, tonight. DM any random 10 business account. Oh, hi, how you doing? Can I speak to the CEO? Can I speak to the owner of the business? Oh, yes, this is the owner. I would like to ask. I mean, I'm a journalist working with DK reporters. We are putting up a report for this month. At the end of this month, can you share your vision of the business with us? They don't have a vision. They're just winging it. They're just forgetting it. Oh, Nigeria is hard. Let me just start selling shoes. Let me just start selling clothes. Let me just start selling waistband. Let me just start selling waist bead. Let me just start selling slippers. That's how we do business.
What can I
And
say?
exactly what will I sell? And we are not even good with the sales. We don't go for trainings and say, okay, how do I get better with sales? And that's why you will find more Nigerian business owners or more Nigerian businesses say they are doing ads, but it's not working. You find more Nigerian businesses. I've consulted for business owners in the US, business owners in Finland, in Europe, in Netherlands, in Canada, in the UK. Majority of the business owners that have said these ads don't work for them are Nigerian business owners. And when you figure out, you realize that they are very poor with closing. They are very poor with customer support. They are very poor with after sales support. They are very poor with building systems in their business. Because to them, it's just, let me just make money. Let me just make money. Let me just make money. So the money is just the money that they're using to live their day to day life.
You see, after sales support is
Mm-hmm.
something that I don't think I can talk about it enough because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's very, very terrible. Of course, even businesses that have good customer service,
Mm-hmm.
they are terrible at after sales support.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. After sales support, it's like it's
Because,
non-existent. It's like Nigeria believe that they don't owe you
because,
anything after your.
no, let me tell you why. Let me tell you, because the business is for the now. If you are thinking that, you will see standard businesses tell you that we want to keep this customer for the next 10 years. We are estimating that this one customer that we get, we can get 10x from this customer in the next 10 years. That's why they are happy to spend 5% or 20% of that 10x to acquire that customer, because they know that for the next 10 years, our work is to keep this customer. So for Nigerian business owners, for a majority, and that's why the few that are doing it right, they keep winning. The ones, and I
Maybe
tell
so.
people, I've seen business owners that tell me, oh, but this owner is my friend. They don't have this thing that you're talking about, but they are making money. I'm saying, okay, in the next 5 years, let's see where they are. In the next 10 years, let's see where they are. So, and that's the reality. People think, I saw a quote recently. Someone said, oh, we don't know it's in pigeon, like, oh, we don't know who has blown now. It is when we all grow old, that's when we know who has blown. Because some people will blow early. After a while, they will no longer blow. Some people will blow later. After a while, they will no longer blow. It is when we are all older, when we are old and we are retired, that is when we know the real people that have blown. So someone that is running business now, you think, oh, they have cash flow, they have turnover. In the next 5 years, is that business still there? Can that business float itself? Can that business run without that person being physically present in a store location? In the next 10 years, can that business pay itself salaries? And it's not like you are doing cash injection every now and then, because there's no sustainability for the business. So, and that's why people say, oh, there's no Nigerian owned business that is nearly 50 years, because of no sustainability. It's simple. We don't think about, oh, long term. I've served this person. After serving
Even
this
the
person,
big
am I supposed to
brands,
still keep them?
even the big
Yeah. Yes, the big brands, even the big brands, it's not a it's a Nigerian service culture. It's a service, we lack service culture in Nigeria. We lack service culture in Nigeria. We I mean, I've bought from you. For example, I bought light from someone. I bought light I bought light from her. I think something I bought was about 280K, which is not to to her. That is not the regular thing she bought now. I bought this after showing interest to buy a 40K light. I saw another light on her page, and I told her, oh, I don't want that 40K light anymore. I want this 280K light. Now, after I got the light, it's my first time using the light. I had I'm an informed customer, so I went online, went search for the model, how to set it up. I didn't find anything. I texted this lady, hi, how do I set this thing up? She hasn't replied me to date.
oh, 280K lights.
Yes, she has not replied me till date, till the time that we're speaking right now. She has not replied. She hasn't replied. And she's online. She's posting stories. In her mind, I've bought what I want to buy. I've gone. But imagine if she had treated me well, I could buy some other things. I would just know that, okay, I already have a trusted buyer that I can buy all things from. Now, if someone reaches out to me to say, oh, I like your new light setup in your videos, can you share who is the vendor? I can refer them to her. But she didn't think about it that, oh, a customer that buys 280K light from you, it means that they can buy more. Someone comes to you, they want to buy 40K light, they upgrade their order to 280K. It means that they can buy more.
Yes. And they can
So for
refer customer of that class
to
to you.
you, so because she's not thinking in that light, she's just thinking that I've sold, I move on. Another new customer will be acquired. And so she'll keep spending money on customer acquisition.
Customer acquisition.
The retention that she should spend zero naira on, she would not invest in it. And that's why they are in a continuous circle of customer acquisition.
It's not
A
why I
continuous
agree that
circle.
it's a Nigerian problem, Ladi. Why I agree it's a Nigerian problem is because in the e-commerce that I operate in, I work
Mm-hmm.
for African grocery business around. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I observe
Mm-hmm.
that is still the problem too. Majority
Mm.
of African grocery owners in the UK, in the US, their retention is like maybe less than 10%.
Mm.
That is why they have to spend money on ads every now and then to acquire customer every now and then. You see that a product
Mm.
is expired. It is expired. You yourself, you cannot eat that product, but you ship it
Mm-hmm.
out to your customer.
Damn.
So that customer can never. The customer will not come back. The customer will also tell other people not to
mm,
shop from. Then they will start saying that Asian stores are taking their customers. People will go buy from Asian stores because the number one, this customer service is bad. Then the after sales support is terrible. It's non-existent. Even if you go to, I've never shopped in any supermarket in my city, and I get a call from
mm,
them.
mm, mm,
None. Even the place that I go to shop every now and then.
mm, mm,
I shop in the store throughout the year. If I shop in your supermarket throughout the year, I will spend nothing less than, let me say, 1 million, 2 million on groceries
mm,
around the year.
mm, mm, mm,
With you,
mm,
at the end of the year, you should be able to check your data and say, these are my top customers. Let's give them a call at the end of the year. Let's even wish them happy Christmas. Hello, this is
mm,
from so supermarket. You're one of our VIP customers. We want to thank you. We
mm,
have this
mm,
particular voucher.
mm, mm.
They won't do it. None. It doesn't happen in Nigeria. It's as if they get,
Because they believe another customer will come now.
they don't, it's like they don't understand what is customer lifetime value. Maybe if we explain that, maybe some people will get customer lifetime
Yeah,
value.
true, true. Is a custom. In fact, the funny thing is, I was thinking about doing a video on CLV. I think, or CLTV recently because I've realized that when you acquire a customer right now, the normal thing is that, or your expectation is that that customer should shop from you or should buy from you, should remain your customer for at least 10 years. So if I buy a beverage brand today, the beverage company is expecting that myself, I will continually consume that beverage drink for at least 10 years. So the amount that the beverage company spent in acquiring me, they should get it back in that 10 years of me continually buying that beverage maybe once in 3 months. That's the value of me as a customer in terms of customer lifetime value to a business. So for me, and I believe that, and it's not just a me thing, I believe that businesses should begin to get into that head space where this customer that I have customer A. How do I retain this customer A? At least for the next 3 years. How do I get return purchases from them? How do I get return orders from them? How do they continually buy from me in a way that in a way that it makes sense, in a way that there is continuity for my business, as it were. So the reality is that, and that's why, well, in startups right now, we measure customer lifetime value because we measure how much a customer has spent or how much a customer can spend if this customer stays with us for the next 1 year at least. If this customer spends $1 on a product and that product they expected to finish it in 1 week or 2 weeks, if there are 52 weeks in a year, so it means that they used to spend $1 in 2 weeks, so there are about 26 weeks or thereabouts that they can spend. So it means that the value of that customer is 26 dollars. So the goal is, how do we ensure that the remaining 26 weeks, 26 times that this customer needs this service, they are buying from us. That's the value of that that's the CLV of that customer in itself, at least for 1 year. So if businesses begin to think in this light, especially Nigerian businesses, is the quickest way to win. Is the quickest way to win. Like, people just know that. Let me give an example of the fashion design industry. Everybody can, like, a lot of fashion designers can sew. A lot can sew, but not all fashion designers can offer good experience when they sew. Not all, only some. A lot of people can make shoes. Not everybody offer good experience with their shoemaking encounter. When you and it starts from this. Even pre-sale, you hear people say things like, "Oh, I was texting this vendor, and the first time I texted this vendor sent me a voice note." They don't know you, you don't know them. You are sending them a voice note. You have not established a rapport. You are sending them a voice note. You don't have any close relationship. You are sending them a voice note. These are things that, when you think about it, just like, why is anybody doing this? Someone makes a complaint about your
And
product and you're fighting them. You're like, oh, there's something wrong with this product, and then you're fighting them. And the silliest one is when you hear things like, oh, no refund. In my head, I can never take myself to shop from a place they have put no refund on their bio. In fact, I when I was a student in Unilag, there was a shop that you find queues. You find a long queue inside of those shops, about two of them. I told my friends, I said, I ain't never eating from any of these places because I want to spend my money and I have to get on the queue for like 15 minutes before I get attended to. I'm not putting myself through that. No matter how tasty their food tastes, no matter what else is in their food, I do not care. I ain't putting my money through that process. The same way right now, I ain't putting my money through a brand that puts no refund, no refund. They put a big X, no refund. I don't care your negative experiences you have had. If you sell me a defunct, a defunct product, you sell me a product that has defect, you will refund my money. And that doesn't absolve you of refunds. It do, because it is even illegal in the very first place. It is illegal in the first place.
yeah,
It doesn't
very
absolve you
arrogant.
of any responsibility at all.
These guys are very arrogant. Very, very arrogant. You talk to them and say, oh, refund my money. I have experiences with a lot of people that, a lot of vendors that sell uh, shoes, that sell bags, that sell clothes, gin, and all of these things online. I've come to the understanding that I will just go outside of my house and look for the ones that I want to buy in the shop and buy them. And that's why anybody that's coming into business in Nigeria and the person is ready to offer good customer service, offer
Hmm.
after sales support,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
person will win. In any there's no industry in Nigeria that is being handled very well.
Yeah,
Maybe
true,
the industry you guys
true.
are playing in, maybe the fintech and payment industry
Even in,
that
even in
you guys are
fintech, yeah, even in fintech, go behind today, this night, go in the comment section of any popular post. You would find customers of fintech brands calling them out. The post is not made by the fintech brand though. Have you seen this before? Have you seen it before? You
playing.
just see.
Yeah,
Do you know why they are doing that? Because those guys have reached out to them in their DM, reached out to them on their post. They did not get a response. It's sickening. Like they have reached out to you. They have. I'm texting someone via the DM, sending them a reply. They are not replying me. So what do I do? A VDM post that is popular, I go to the comment section of that VDM post. I go to the comment section of Instablog Nigeria, Yaba left online. I go there and go and tag that company that I'm still waiting for your response. Come and reply me because they know they will reply on the popular post. That's how bad it is even in fintech. So fintechs are even worse. Once a fintech scales in Nigeria, once they become big in Nigeria, their customer service goes to shit.
yes. it's, it's crazy. I just hope people are picking up lessons. What you're talking about, all of these things that we're talking about, still happened to one of my friends today. He was looking for, he had to do a test in the diagnosis center, and he reached out to the help desk of the diagnosis center around, and all of them were just terrible. Some of them, he said some of them was just told him that don't worry, we don't do it. He was not saying,
Mm.
look at your website. You people put it there that you do this test.
Mhm,
Then he said,
mhm.
what do you want me to say? They told me they don't do it. I was like, really? He said he was very, very frustrated. No industry is being done well. Just like I said, in the grocery industry, it's not just in Nigeria, even abroad in the UK, in the US, it is still the same. That is why Asian stores are taking their customers over there, and
Mm.
Walmart, and they are taking their customers over there because if you buy something from an African store, you make a call to them, Mba. Some of them will tell you they cannot replace your order. Some of them will tell you they cannot refund. And the worst of the worst is sending out an expired product. I believe that is wickedness because you yourself will not eat that. Why give
Mm.
that to your customers? Why give that to your customers? Now, let's talk about unethical marketing tricks. I believe a lot of
So
people use unethical.
yeah, yeah. In fact, a lot of people use. In fact, is not a lot of people do, and is not uncommon. There was one time somebody came online.
Okay.
Now, right now, his business is defunct. His business is defunct. So I think at this one I can mention it, and it won't be bad belly or something. But somebody came online to say that he posted on a Facebook group that he wants to give business owners something, and they should comment their emails. He mentioned about giving them something ridiculous or something. Now, he said he got 6,000 emails uh, from that from that activity. Are you with me? Are you with me? Now, he said he got
Six
about
thousand
6,000
emails.
emails. Yes, about 6,000 emails from that activity. That's around the number he said. But guess what? He now used this to say he now used this to say that organic marketing is dead. Now, what he wanted to do was he onboarded these 6,000 people into his business banking products. Yes. So now, the funny thing is that I can't even remember the name of that business banking. They pivoted recently. Uh, ah, ah, if I remember, if I find that post, yes. In fact, he's a popular guy. In fact, immediately I put his first name on Google. I saw him come up. He's a popular guy. I've forgotten the startup that he went to start again recently, but yes, I remember it now. The name starts with K and ends with A. Now, he 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 now got about 6,000 people who were interested in the free resource he wanted to give. He now said he now registered them for his app, for his business banking app. That clearly is an unethical marketing activity because you deceived people, you deceived people into getting on your app. You deceive people into getting into your app. It's clearly
Your
unethical.
app. Your app. You didn't sell your app to them. Oh. You sold another
Clearly,
phone to them entirely.
absolutely, clearly unethical. So that sort of thing is something that you would find in so many places. You will find people experimenting or doing those kind of things, and then you know that this indeed is something that people are doing, and it's absolutely wrong. It is wrong. It is indeed wrong. It is indeed wrong. Absolutely wrong. It is indeed wrong. So
The
you
whole data gathering thing.
yes, you gather data and then you subscribe them to a product that they never indicated interest in. Is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's
What
absolutely wrong.
is what is what is the effect of chasing virality when it comes to businesses, when it comes to brands? Do you think chasing virality is something good?
So there are numerous articles that have said that there's some formula to virality. However, from what I have seen in my experience, you don't plan for virality. You put in consistent amount of work over time, and especially on social media, and virality comes in as a reward. Let me give you a very realistic example. There's some guy who is based in Lagos, an entrepreneur, is a business owner. He has a workspace called, I think, Rainbow Spaces or something, somewhere based on the mainland, Lagos mainland. Now, recently, I've been seeing this guy's posts consistently. In fact, he has been shooting videos with his team regarding his space. that people should come and use the space, etc. Recently, he had a viral post, and people are talking about the heat in Lagos at the moment, which is presently hot. And he mentioned how people can come in to work in a space for a token of about 2.5, and there is fan, there is AC, it's cold, it's cool. People can come in there instead of staying at home to enjoy the heat. And the post went viral. For me, that post only went viral and he was able to maintain that virality. And he said, afterwards, he said that was the first time that his workspace had was filled to the brim. And he even had to get the extra space that they had been preparing before that wasn't even ready to be used. That is virality. That's like virality in action for a business. And why am I saying this is that if he had gone viral without preparation, it would have been a disservice to his brand. But
His
he went
brand.
viral. He had been putting in the work. Like I said, he has been shooting videos. He has been putting out content, showing up for days. And then the time he went viral, it was easy for him to go viral. It was super easy for him to go viral. Super easy for him to go viral. So, and so he has been contributing to discourse. He has been speaking about his workspace. So it wasn't just, oh, he spoke about it randomly and then he went viral. No, he had been intentionally speaking about the need.
And it's not, he was not trying to entertain people
Yes,
like you were saying you were trying.
he wasn't saying this post must go viral. Let me see, put this and it will go viral. He had been doing it consistently. He has been following the principle of consistency, which is he had been trend jacking consistently. He had been trend jacking consistently, putting his mouth in conversations in a very informational way, putting his mouth in conversation in a very engaging way, sharing stories about his business, which is the workspace, in an engaging way, in a sensible manner. He has been doing that. So when virality came in as an added piece, it was the icing on the cake. Pretty simple.
Beautiful, beautiful. I also tell people, even people that are building personal brand, to be specific, that
Mm-hmm.
build it because you want to build it because you want to put it there, instead of saying you want to blow or you want to get popular. And I observe that there's a trend among marketing newbie. There's a trend with them chasing virality. They want to go viral. They want their approach to trend and go, which I think is not something a professional per se to chase, compared to you just dishing out those information the right way. And like you said, the right moment will come. The moment you never plan for at all, it will come. It will come. I don't know. There's another topic that came to my head right now. From your experience in marketing, will you say marketing success comes from data-driven decision or it comes from instinct?
This is a dicey one, and I say it's a dicey one because you would meet people, you meet some people, and they tell you my success in marketing has been based on instinct. You meet some people, they'll tell you my success has been based on data led. But one thing that you can bank on that I have seen is a mixture of both. Now, and not a mixture of instinct per se, is a mixture of human context mixed with data, layered on data. For example, I'm a marketing leader in a fintech. I see that a lot of people buy airtime on Friday night. That's all I see. I see there is a lot of Friday airtime purchase. That's what I see in the data. On Fridays, we get airtime a lot. Now, with human insight, I can understand, okay, what happens on Fridays if the location is in Lagos, for example. What happens in Lagos on Fridays? Oh, TGIF, perhaps people are going out, people are out, and they need to call somebody. So, if I want to drive a campaign regarding that airtime, I need to factor in the context of what is going on Fridays. I cannot just sit in my house, think to myself, I think I make a lot of calls on Friday, and I buy airtime most Fridays. Let me do campaign on Friday. No, that's not intuition. Is when you layer intuition on data, when you layer human context on data, it makes more sense. When you layer human insight on data, it makes more sense. I mean, to achieve success. Now, the kind of successes that I've achieved over the years in my career, I have seen it from seeing the data, understanding it, and layering insight, human insight on top of it. That's that sort of thing.
Thank you for that answer. I also believe when you work when you work in a particular niche for long, just like you people, you begin to your instincts begin to tell you some things like this will not work, this will work, this will not work.
100%, 100%. Like you can easily predict the things that would resonate, and that is not even at that point. That's not instinct. What you're working with is historical data. For
It's
example, what you're working with is historical data. Let me give you an example here. Someone says to me, I want to launch this product. I look at the product, and it is something that I had piloted about 4 or 5 years ago, done a full pilot on it. Now, if I tell you this product may not work because of one, two, three reasons, I'm not giving you uh, instincts. I'm giving you historical data, something I've experienced before. I'm not saying it because of how I feel. I'm not saying because of maybe what I am saying. I'm saying because of what I've experienced before. So sometimes at the end of the day, when people talk about human instinct is mostly from
historical data, right?
historical data, what they've
Just like
seen, and even the conjecture can be data. You want to say something? You wanted to say something?
yeah, I wanted to say the HR crunch thing that you ask them to change the name, blah blah blah, or see the conversation with the HR guy on Twitter. The,
For example, yeah, that's a very good example. Now, I see an event that says HR Crunch is happening. The third edition or the second edition is happening. In my head, what comes to my head is that this is an HR event. And then I
Simple.
reply one of the organizers. Organizer says to me, it's not for HR, it's for all professionals. Because I have seen miscommunication at events multiple times. So I'm not saying how I feel. I'm speaking from experience, from historical data that when you miscommunicate an event, people you don't have a second chance to correct them. It's just the same way I tell people when you develop an app, you will not be there when somebody is registering on your app. So you have to make it as dummy proof, as easy as self use, as self intuitive, or as intuitive, as easy to use as possible. Because when you want to use my app, I will not be there to show you, oh, look, do this, allow me, do this, do this, do this, do this. I will not be there to show you. You will just be in your house. You might just be at a beer parlor or at the lounge on Friday night. See, I need to. You're just going to your phone and you want to you register. I will not be there. So if it is difficult, you churn. So the where somebody will see the name HR Crunch, you will not be there to explain to them that this is for everybody. The fact that the label HR is even there in the very first place just means one thing, that this is an HR themed event. So in my head, and that's how it's crazy. And that's why for me, that's why I think one of the things I'm learning to do right now is not offer people free counsel. In my head, I expected, because the truth is that I expected that they would even not change the name entirely like they did and start using formerly HR Crunch. What I expected was that they would just go with the Crunch 2025. So you just take out the HR, because the HR is the only branding. Man, and
Yeah.
this might be that perhaps maybe the Crunch has been trademarked or labeled or something. Or it might just be Nigerian crunch or startup crunch or something, or workplace crunch. Because at the end of the day, People have gotten used to the HR crunch,
That crunch
the
thing is already
quality.
selling.
So, yes, that crunch is already selling. So because you are expanding the base, it's not like you are building finding a new base. You are expanding, you're just expanding the base. There are people who already know you that, oh, this is what you do. They already know you. This is what you do. So what you're trying to just do now is expand the base. That's what you're doing. You are trying to expand your base audience. So let your existing audience know that you still have them, it's still their event. Now let the new audience know that it's no longer a restricted event. It's simple. So when I said that, I think the convener attacked me like, oh, people keep saying this. What do they want them to do? Did they kill themselves? I think someone now texted me like, oh, I should just delete that. They will not understand. People can be sensitive. Okay, yeah, that's fine. One thing I've realized is that I think in this generation right now, people don't want feedback. They lie. People lie and say they want feedback, but they don't want feedback. But one thing I've
So
grown up with, no, people lie and say they want feedback. They don't want feedback. But one thing I have grown up with is that nothing gets better with feedback, without feedback. If you give me, I shoot content. When people give me feedback, it was feedback that made me change my video lighting. It was feedback that made me change the way I shoot my videos. It was feedback. Someone saw my video, sent me a feedback as regards where my text should be in. That, oh, save this picture, layer this picture on your videos. This is anywhere this red is, don't put your text there. Put your text only where this white space is. It is feedback. So if I don't get those feedback, I would not get better. The person giving me feedback, it is not their video, it is not their idea, it is not their initiative, it is mine. So if I get better at it, it is my thing. That's how I see feedback. So imagine I sent a feedback to one newsletter babe. She writes newsletters. And I sent a feedback to her. I'm like, I told her, I said, your text is unreadable because of your use of color. You're using yellow. Your hyperlink is now colored yellow. Imagine someone is reading an hyperlink colored yellow on a white background. Do you know what she said to me? She said, nobody has given her that feedback before. I'm the only one that has complained about it. And she said something snide. I just, okay, no wala. Now, one thing I realized is that she felt bad, like, why am I saying at newsletter is
people don't
unreadable?
want to look like they're not good at something.
But
Immediately you
the
give
only
feedback,
reason I'm saying that is because I follow your newsletter. I'm reading your newsletter.
I'm interested in it.
I'm interested in it. That's the only reason I'm saying that. You know, that day I kept on looking like, I showed my sister this feedback. What do you think? In fact, before I showed her the feedback, I told her to read that text. This thing is difficult to read. It's not legible. Just type a yellow, put a white text on a white background, color it yellow, make it hypertext, hyperlink something and color it yellow. It's difficult to read. But she pushed back like, oh, this is not a valid feedback. She sent something that meant like this is not a valid feedback. It's only related to you. Maybe you are the one that is blind or something like that. And for me, it was so funny. Like, it's doing this thing is just because I'm interested in this newsletter. Now me fuck up. Oh. If you had paid me to listen to this, to say, oh, my newsletter is not going. Why is it not going? And then we go to get on a 1 hour call, and then I
Yeah,
show you that this is your problem. You would value that feedback. You value that feedback. If you had paid me for my time, you tell me, oh, I mean, like I get requests every now and then. People say, oh, can I jump on a call with you? Can I pick your brain? Oga, I'll just send you my calendar link. Book a time. Pay. If you paid for it, and I tell you this is the problem. If you fix it, I can assure you that it will get solved. If your problem doesn't get solved, I will pay you if it doesn't get solved. And people do it and then they say that, oh, my problem has gotten solved. And because they paid, they will value the feedback. So
yes,
that guy, that HR crunch guy, if he had paid me to look at the event to say, oh, I need some consulting for this event. I'm having challenge. I'm driving because the truth is driving the event is investing so much in it. But you are investing so much in something that communication is very dicey. What you hear first about something is difficult for anybody to come and change it from your mind.
indeed.
It's
Marketing is
difficult.
marketing is very crazy because
It's comes
apparently
is crazy.
the way you are saying this whole thing that it should have gone with the crunch, I'm
Mm-hmm.
really seeing like straight up, and that's why people will tell you that a professional is a professional.
There's
See,
no
that,
two way about it.
forget GPT. Oh, you can't GPT your way into being a professional.
It's
Honestly, I'm
simple.
saying the whole thing that if you are going with the crunch and then keep the crunch thing, it's gonna be awesome
Yes.
because the crunch thing is already selling, and then you just
Yes.
continue.
People already know HR crunch. So when you now say the crunch, people can easily link it subconsciously to say, oh, this by the HR crunch guys. It makes sense. So that way they know now they don't you don't now need to tell them it's formally HR crunch. They just see that okay, this thing is expanding beyond HR guys, HR professionals. It is now covering everybody within the that have 9 to 5. It's simple. Okay, this
Yes.
thing is not covering it. But guess what? The same thing that I said, and I think a lot of other people have said, is what has now been done.
Yes, I saw that they've done it.
They've now rebranded it. They've now rebranded the event to say, oh, I think employability or something, and African employability workforce or something in that light. But the reality is this here, and that's why maybe I mean, one of the things I'm learning lately is that when you're young, you reject feedback. Your mother tells you something, your father tells you something, you say you don't want.
The
As
default
you
is to
get
no answer
yes, so as you get older, you seek their counsel because you realize that you are not as smart as you think you are.
because you made a lot of the decision and you fucked up.
Exactly. So when you're young in your career, you say, oh, you don't want mentors. What do you want to do with a mentor? As you grow older, you start looking for mentors because you realize there are so many things that are overwhelming. You need counsel, you need guidance from people that know it, not people that are winging it. You need counsel from people that know what they are doing. They know their stuff. They're not just guessing. That sort of thing.
And the advent of GPT has made people think that they know what they don't know. For
In
example,
fact,
copywriting, all of these
I'm
things.
happy. I'm happy. You know why? You know why I'm happy is that when everybody is using GPT, people that are not ideating with GPT, they are layering GPT, ChatGPT, or AI tools on their ideas. They produce better results. You can easily tell. You can easily tell. You can easily tell. Creativity is creativity. If I tell people, I say, do not start your process with an AI tool. End your process with it. End your thinking process with it. I'm going on a walk. The only reason I go on a walk is so that if I get an idea, I'm expanding it with an AI tool. I'm not asking the AI tool for the idea. I'm getting the idea, I'm forming it in my head. I want to expand it, I want to scale up the idea. I'm reaching out to ChatGPT to scale up that idea for me. I'm
You're
reaching
not
out to
asking it to
ChatGPT to
think for you.
yes, I'm asking you to think of the blind spots. What are the things I'm not seeing with this? This is what I'm thinking. What are the things I am not seeing? What are the things I should look out for? So instead of me doing that idea blindly, ChatGPT has shown me my blind spots and has helped me fill those gaps. So
Honestly,
when the idea
honestly.
is when the idea comes out is robust because it's not ChatGPT that is thinking of the idea for me. I thought of the idea myself, put it into ChatGPT for for robustness.
Awesome, awesome.
So creativity is creativity at the end of the day.
You
Creativity
can't
is creativity.
seriously. I've seen it everywhere. I've told people, I've told one of my mentees that look, go and buy copywriting book and read it and write copy with your hand. That
Mm-hmm,
is you
mm-hmm,
see
mm-hmm.
all this AI, you have to know where you are going to before you can use them. They don't know
Hmm.
the road. You are the one that will drive them. It's just like a car. A car cannot take you to Lagos. You are the one that will drive the car yourself. And if you drive the car via a very bad road,
Mm-hmm.
the car does not have a mind of its own. You are still the driver. So I believe that's how AI is. You are the driver. But if you're not good enough as a driver, a car will not automatically make you a good driver. If you're a bad driver, you're a bad driver.
There's
If you like,
nothing you want to do.
there's nothing you want to do. Okay, we've been over an hour here. Oh. Let's talk about young men before we. I don't want this to be too long. Let's talk about young men. I like talking about that part. It's very important to me. I believe a lot of young men are making a lot of mistake. They are getting the ideas of masculinity wrong. Yes, you need to be masculine. You need to be able to lead your home and all of these things. But you know, the advent of feminism have brought about the advent of alpha male, two different extreme, everything not making sense. So, what do you think? What's your message for young men generally?
For me, my young man message is always same every time I speak to it. One, as a young man, you have to discover yourself, discover what you want your life to be, discover where you want your life to go. If every other thing will be layered on top of it. As a young man, you need to acquire relevant skills, valuable skills that makes your life easy. That relevant skills that are monetizable. As a young man, your entire personality should not be about money. Money. I tell people money is the least of my worries because if you take me to if I relocate from Nigeria today, I will make money. If you take me to the village today, I will make money because I understand the concept. The concept of money is not going to church to pray, going to mosque to pray, doing money
Doing
ritual. That's not
and all of
that's
these
not the
things.
concept of money. The concept of money is simply value exchange. You have value, you acquire value, you exchange it for money. Now, and that's even the crazy concept that marketing sits on. You create a product, you exchange it for money from the consumer. That's the concept of money, value exchange. So if you understand money from the point of value exchange, you realize that money, you can make any money you want to make in life. So your entire personality should not be, your entire life goal should not be money. I want to make money, I want to blow, I want to hammer. If your entire life is still revolves around the fact that you want to make money, you have not found purpose. So you need to find purpose. Purpose is something that wakes you up in the morning. Some purpose is something that drives you. It is why you want to see next year. It is why you want to see next 5 years. I see young men tell me things like, oh, once I will just carry one body. And in my mind, I'm like, even without money, you can carry bodies. So why is carrying body your life mission? And our society as well, because our society is very misogynistic. That's the honest truth. We are not training young men to have vision. We are training young men to their entire life is to serve women. It's crap. Then that's how we are training men in this part of the world. Their entire life. I know a friend of mine who told me the reason why he's making money is so that he can spend it on a woman. In my head, I'm like, and we're having that argument for hours because it doesn't make sense. Why am I making money to spend it on a woman? What like how is that supposed to be normal? That's not normal. That's not sensible. But that is what a lot of young people are are growing up with. That's what a lot of young people are thinking. That their entire reason for making money is to spend it on a woman. Whether the woman is their mother, is their sisters, or is their wife, or is their girlfriend, their entire purpose of making money is to spend it on a woman. But it's a warped mindset. It's a warped mindset because money is as a result of purpose. When you are chasing purpose, money comes out of it. Money comes out of it. It's simple. So for me, what I say to young men all the time is this: learn life skills. One, be a valuable person. Two, be a person of value. Two, three, your entire personality should not be about money. You should not meet a woman and the first thing you're talking about is how much money you have, how much money is in your
Uh,
bank account, trying to
now,
open your banking app, or how many houses you have built. Your entire personality should not be about that. A man, your entire personality should not be about just discussing gist online. Pella versus Jarvis, VDM versus Cubana Chief Priest. Your entire life cannot be about internet gossip. You have to be able to discuss topics that are outside internet gossip. In fact, we should not even be, you have to be able to, you must be able to, else you're not a man. Else you're not a man. So as a young person, you need to have purpose. You need to you need to build value into yourself. You cannot, there are ages that money should not be your concern. That those are formative ages that you should, what your concern should be is, how do I add value to myself? How do I become a better person? What skills do I learn that makes me a better individual, that makes me a responsible person, that makes me a sensible person in the society, that helps me have common sense, pretty much.
Thank you very much, Ladi. Thank you very much. I want you to cap it with books recommendation. What
So
books will you
books
recommend?
recommendation. I think one book I would always recommend is The Outliers. The Outliers. I've forgotten who wrote it right now. I think it's Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell. The Outliers. Now, The Outliers reinforces one belief that I have, which is that you have power over your life. You have power over your life, and there are some forces that are out of your control that are not that are not spiritual forces. But even if those forces are against you, there are some things that you can do to control those forces and make those forces work for you. So that's a book that I always recommend. That, oh, anybody tell I say go and read The Outliers, you will understand why some people are successful, why some people stand out, why some
That's
people
it.
don't stand out, why some people are average, why some people are just there in life. So they are not standard, they don't stand out, they are just there in life, pretty much.
Yeah. So coming to the end of the this section, Ladi, I usually ask a this or that question,
Okay.
and you go on. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, get started right now. YouTube or TikTok,
YouTube,
Twitter or LinkedIn,
Twitter,
product marketing or performance marketing,
performance marketing,
fintech or logistics,
fintech,
iPhone or Samsung,
iPhone,
Eba or Amala,
Amala,
Egusi or okra,
Oko,
Harmattan season or rainy season,
rainy season,
marketing or sales,
marketing,
APC or PDP,
PDP,
Saraki or Akpabio,
Saraki,
books or podcast,
books,
Enoch or Apostle Paul.
Apostle Paul.
Thank you, Ladi. That's it. It's been an awesome
Thank you
time
very
talking.
much for speaking with me.
I really appreciate this. What will you leave
Yeah.
us with? Any final message to the world?
I think my final message would be that anybody who listens to this know that you can be anything you choose to be, anything you desire to be in life. You can change. The power to change your life is in your hands. The power to change your life is in your hands. So if you don't like where you are right now, do something about it. Simple.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye.